Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Just want to show you guys I think one of the most iconic marker ever made. This single marker probably helped build the biggest paintball marker company out, Planet Eclipse. So I'll show you, what I got here. I think you guys will appreciate this. Put that over here to the side for now. I got an 06 Excessive Ego. Probably the best milling I've seen on a marker ever. Just look how beautiful this thing is. Excessive back button. I actually have a tech bolt in it right now. I was doing some testing on these tech bolts. This is the Cush with the soft face, the Venturi opening. I actually saw a pretty dramatic increase in FPS compared to the stock bolt when using the tech, and it's a lot quieter. Then obviously it's still a loud gun. I mean, these things they're not quiet guns, right? These things are some clackers, right? So you got this bad boy here, the Excessive. Back in the case. And I'll move on to, see, when I was growing up, my first marker, well, it was a Spider, but my real first marker was an 06 Purple Eagle. Killer D10s, Virtue board. Yeah, it was such a sick marker. And then the SL74 came out, especially in this oil slick. I mean, name a more iconic marker than this. An oil slick SL74. For you guys who know and who can appreciate this, especially back in the day, like, look at this thing. It's so freaking beautiful. It's so thin and small, right? Like, what a beautiful. And this thing, I put a Zik 2 rammer. So this SL74 was the first Eagle to come out with this Zik kit. Supposed to make it, a little bit softer, help you on more brittle paint. So it came with the Zik kit. I put the Zik 2 kit in. It fits with the 11 back cap, low pressure valve guide in here, and then you got the tech bolt as well on this one, right? And I could tell you, this thing shoots awesome. It still has a little bit of a clack to it, but this I could put up against anything. And I think this will, for me, just shooting this thing just feels right. The ergonomics, the trigger feels like this was prime in my, like, the Ego 7, 8, 9, and maybe 11. That was probably like my favorite ergonomics. Right, then you got the GOs, the 3.5s with the AT pipe, the LV1 with the AT pipe. Those were nice too, because those felt thin and small. Right? Like, look at this thing. The Aurora plating on this thing. Freaking sick marker. I also have, the barrels for that one too. And then we'll move on to another special marker here. The Ego CSL with the dart kit installed, which is the bolt, right? It has like a heavier weighted bolt in the back. Came with a different valve guide. What else did it come with? Valve guide, the valve guide, the actual poppet itself, and the bolt. Yeah, that makes sense. But like this thing is freaking awesome too. Look at the milling on these things. They don't make milling like this anymore. And what's even better about this marker, what it came with, for those who don't know, it came with a full barrel kit, barrel back and tip, right? But look at these tips. They came with a 16-inch, like all their SL markers, and a 14-inch tip. I don't know if you guys could catch it on camera here, but this is all gold weave carbon fiber through these tips. This is probably the best tip ever made. It was so expensive to make, I don't even think that's why they even bothered making it anywhere. It's just too expensive to make. Like, these things are freaking awesome. So I'll just throw it on the gun feed here. Which way is this one? This one. Still reverse threaded. Right? Look how sick this thing looks put together. Freaking awesome. So when I was younger, these were the go-to markers, right? Not even this one. This one's a newer one. The SL74, the Eagle 9s, the SL94, right? Like, those were, you either had that or you had a DM or, you know, not even too many Bob Longs around. It was more DMs, PMs, and a lot of egos. A lot of egos out there. Right? And, you know, when you're younger and you're buying second-hand markers because you don't have the money for new markers, you know, and when you're in Canada and you don't have the Facebook BSTs like how we have today, which is freaking awesome. But back in the day, when you saw this thing online on like PB Nation or, well, back in Canada, we had a thing called T-Dot Ballers. I'm sure some Toronto guys will remember that website. If you ever saw this thing come up, you're like, holy shit, where did you find that? And they're even more rare today. I don't know how many of these they made, but they're very hard to come by. And look how sick. This one's never leaving my hands. Never leaving my hands. This was the marker that I always wanted when I was a kid. Teenager. Right? Freaking shoots amazing. I still enjoy shooting this marker till today. And next season, this might be the marker that I actually play with. I don't want to ruin it, but honestly, it's a paintball marker and I want to use it. So that's what they're meant for. You know, you can hang them up on a wall, whether they're scratched a little bit or not, but guess what? These things deserve to be shot. These things are sick. So I just want to show you guys something else. So what is it called? Paintball Retro. I ordered these clear pins from them. They came in recently. I just got a chance to throw them on my mask. Nice foam. I don't know if you guys can see. It's nice thin foam. It's not like the thick foam around your nose, so it squeezes your nose, and when you're playing, you know, have breathing issues. You know, I put this strap on because I think the team I'm playing with, they're going to be roughly around these colors, so So yeah, sick lens, sick frame, very thin. Right, I'll show you guys in comparison to like a regular frame. So this is my OG bandana frames that I had when I was like 14. Like you can see, like they're pretty, you know, they're a normal ProFlex frame size. And then you got this one, look how thin that is in comparison. It's quite a bit thinner. Which one looks better? To be honest with you, I think this looks better, just because this is OG and more personal, you know, preference. Sick bandana, fucking red frames, sick. Super dead strap with the ears and the bottoms, the gold bandanas. This thing's sick, right? And my OG bottoms, I'll get you guys in a sec. Yeah. So Hydra frames, these are newer, right? The Hydra frames are newer, but like the OG bottoms, this is when I was a kid too. And I kind of mix matched it with the ices that I have over there. So that's just some of my ProFlex, you know, goggles that I have laying around. My builds, as you would call it nowadays. So, like, look at this freaking thing. Look how gorgeous this thing is. Excessive logo. With the Eclipse. I don't know if you guys could see that. Oh no, that's a star there on this side. The Eclipse logo here. Excessive with the stars. You had your LPR gauge here. Still works. You know, this thing got rebuilt a couple years ago, I believe. This used QEVs back here. A lot more different than what we're using today, but you know, take it apart, it's not that hard, you know. And to clean it up, these things, you know, and they just shoot forever. Right? As long as you maintain them pretty good, you know, they'll work. Just like even newer Eclipse style markers today. But like this is what built Planet Eclipse. You know, the Ego absolutely built Planet Eclipse into what you see today. And unfortunately I sold my Twister LV2. Completely regret that. Should have kept that one. But one day I'll get it back. I actually have Aurora plated parts for this thing too. You guys let me know. Should I put the Aurora plated parts on this or keep it as it is? Like, look how freaking sick this thing is. So I actually had the excessive board on this, but I think it was set to like a European file from what I was told. So it only had semi uncapped or semi capped. So I had to go out and buy. Let me see if I can get this on the screen for you guys. It's gonna be hard to see, but this was actually a Maniac board. So I pretty much have all the settings that, you know, that you would need for today. All the ramp settings. I can set that all up on this board now, and so I can shoot this thing in the league if I want to. 10.2 NXL. I can set it all up for that. So this might be a practice marker. Might bring this out on the field just to practice with it, or maybe a game marker. We'll see. And hopefully I can get some shooting videos for you guys on these things. There's a big difference between this and my SL74. So Eclipse did make real upgrades back in the day. Like noticeable upgrades back in the day. I have my SL74 shooting just as good as my CSL. If not better, actually. And the CSL comes with the solenoid flow restrictors and everything on it. Right? So just like, you know, your LV2 nowadays or your LV1 back in the day, this was one of the first markers to come out with that solenoid flow restrictor. And I know a lot of guys, like, they're having problems with their solenoids. Well, they think they do. So you gas up, and when I got this marker, it was the same thing. I gassed it up, and I was hearing a slight leak coming from the solenoid, which happens. So what happens is, if your reg seat is bad in your HPR, you're allowing too much pressure going through to the solenoid, so your solenoid will vent. So you're hearing a leak, so you're thinking that your solenoid is bad, but it's not your solenoid. It's actually your reg seat in your HPR that's causing it to the solenoid to vent because it's getting too much pressure. So I changed out the reg seat. Hopefully that helps some of you guys if you guys get something like this. Even newer LV2s nowadays, it would be the same idea, I believe. But especially with the older Egos, yeah, it's usually your reg seat that just went bad and it's allowing the solenoid to vent. So this thing came with 2 triggers, right? This is, you know, my favorite trigger. I don't know why they don't make this anymore. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's nice to have that 5-way adjustable. But the feeling on this, compared to the old style Eclipse markers, I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. If you haven't tried an old style Eclipse marker before, like, these just feel way better. Big deal in XL, no, but these things are just sick. You know, you have your space here in between the hands and the frame, sorry, and the reg. Put your hands there. Like, I'd put this thing against a G6R all day. This was around the same time, right? 2011, 2012. And look how small and thin this thing is. Look how small, and this shoots, I guarantee you this shoots better than a G6R. Ever will. And don't get me wrong, the G6R is legendary. And it's sick. You can buy a whole bunch of upgrades for it. And it looks sick, all the cuts they have, sick. But Ego versus G6R, I'm going with Ego. That's just me. Alright guys, I'll show you guys the SL74 one more time. Hope you guys appreciate, you know, how sick these things are. Well, I do, so it doesn't really matter, but I'm sure most of you guys who are on my channel, you know, are on my channel for a reason, because you guys like to see some cool markers. And if you have any questions, because like I always tech these guns, so if you have any questions, you can always, you know, put it in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you about, you know, some issues or whatever you're going through. Like, look at that. Why can't they do this anymore? Why can't they make this anymore? You know, something like this. Like the new LV2, LV3, whatever they want to call it. Just make it a little bit skinnier. It makes sick colorways like this. Like, or make the SLV2. Freaking sick. Make that. You know, smaller, thinner, especially in the back. Do something like that. Change the milling up. I know there's a whole bunch of private labels for the LV2, but like colors like this, like that come stock from Pound Eclipse, holy moly. That would be freaking sick. I love this thing. Alright guys, thank you for hanging out, seeing some markers. I still have a few more markers to do. Some cool markers. I got the new waffle Izaki grip on my Force. What else? I got a new Red Legion DSR Pro